And 9/11 happened, and I remember seeing just lots of footage on TV of just soldiers marching, and we were getting ready to go in Afghanistan. We were going to go get bin Laden and all this, and I'd always wanted to join the military, but I was kind of scared to do it. And really, that was the push that I needed to do it.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Heitzman, and we are with Building Community Podcast. And today we are welcoming Dean Smith with Veterans Pressure Washing. Welcome, Dean.
Thank you, ma'am. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Yeah.
So, Dean, you've been a member with the association for several years now, and do great work. And I've known you for, I think, probably 8 years now?
Yeah, it's been about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We met through the chamber, and just want to tell us a little bit about Veterans Pressure Washing.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, Tiffany, and congratulations on Board of Education.
Thank you.
There's nobody that works harder in this town than you. So
you.
I know you're going to take that and just run with it, and just what an honor to be a part of that. So
y'all were a huge part. Thank you for all the
absolutely.
Sign waving and talking to the people and all that.
It was an easy sell.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, I started Veterans Pressure Washing 8 years ago now. And, we're a full service exterior cleaning company, and we do everything from roof cleaning, house washing, gutters, gutter guards. And then we also started a seasonal part of that, which is Christmas light installation, which helps keep the guys busy in the wintertime when things kind of slow down. So
yeah,
it's been great.
And so prior to Veterans, or actually during Veterans Pressure Washing's birth, you served our country in the military, in the Army, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And how long did you serve in the Army?
I served 24 years.
Wow. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, we're about to celebrate America's 250th birthday.
Yep.
It's pretty incredible.
No. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So what did you do in the Army? What was your job?
I started out as a combat arms soldier.
Okay.
I was a cavalry scout.
What does that mean?
I was doing reconnaissance with Bradleys and tanks on the front lines, by doctrine. Of course, when you deploy to Iraq and Afghanistan, we kind of all do the same thing. But I was a combat soldier for the first 8 years. And it was my second deployment to Iraq. And there was an opportunity to change career field, which is when I transitioned into military intelligence.
Okay.
And I did that for the rest of my career.
Okay. And what made you join the Army?
Well, 9/11 happened. I was working in the timber industry in Northern California. My grandpa, all my uncles, everybody worked in the timber industry. I was so far north, it was pretty much Oregon. But that was the profession of that area. And 9/11 happened, and I remember seeing just lots of footage on TV of just soldiers marching, and we were getting ready to go in Afghanistan. We were going to go get bin Laden and all this, and I'd always wanted to join the military, but I was kind of scared to do it. And really, that was the push that I needed to do it.
Yeah.
And so I went down and signed up and went through the process and shipped off to Germany, and then I was in Iraq a couple months later. So.
Wow. Yep. Just a few months later, after going through basic and AIT,
I went
deployed.
Yeah, I went through basic and AIT, and then my first duty station was Germany, and went to Germany. And right about that time, the Iraq War was kicking off, and I deployed to Iraq in March 2003.
Wow.
So
I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing September 11th, and I know a lot of people do too. And
absolutely.
I think one of the things out of that horrendous time in our country is how our country came together.
Yes.
It didn't matter what political,
I know.
race, the country just united. And I wish we could get back to that to some degree. But
I agree.
That's pretty incredible. So you're serving in the Army, and then you end up in a little place called Augusta, Evans, Georgia.
Yep.
And how did that happen? How did you get to Fort Gordon?
Yeah, so while I was, stationed in Germany again for a second time, I'd been all over the world a little bit between now and then, but I had put in to become a warrant officer So I had gotten approved for that. And my follow-on duty station was Fort Gordon. I had never really had any experience with Fort Gordon, but it sounded like a great place. And that was our order. So we PCS'd over here from Germany to Fort Gordon. And that was in 2013. And somehow, some way, we have always been able to stay here as a family.
Wow.
I've had to do a deployment in there, but I also did a Korea tour. And really that's the big, we fell in love with this area after the first 4 years. And we decided if there's a way we can stay here and retire here, that would be amazing. And so my assignment came up and I was getting ready to transition to a new duty station. And my assignment manager, he said that there was an opportunity in Korea. It was unaccompanied. You could not bring your family, but your family would stay, at Fort Gordon area. And if I did that assignment, he would let me pick any place I wanted to come back to. So I could pick my own duty station. And so I went home, talked to Brandy, and we just decided that Fort Gordon, this area, Augusta area, was the area that we wanted to stay and retire and raise our family. So,
and his beautiful wife, Brandy, who I love and adore, and y'all have 2 children. So when this happened, like your kids are like elementary school, you're going to leave to go somewhere and do dangerous things. And she's going to stay behind with really no family around and raising her kids. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And, but I think that just goes to show, as a soldier and as a father and a family man who has you made sacrifices for you and your family. So in the end, your family, could reap the rewards, I guess, of staying somewhere. Because me being a former military wife and the kids, it's really the kids who pay the prices of all the moves and all the things. So when you can get somewhere and stay for a longer amount of time, it does it. But it's a sacrifice, and it could be career sacrificing or family sacrificing. But it's a true sacrifice. So you get back to Fort Gordon, and you take on a new assignment. And then where did the idea of veterans pressure washing come from? I mean, were you like sitting at your desk one day and like saving the world, and then you're like, hey, I think I want how did that happen?
Yeah. So I started the business in 2018. The seed was planted it was probably 2016. It was before I went to Korea for that year. But I had been working on my bachelor's business administration degree. I knew I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship, as I transitioned out of the military. But I remember being on night shift, working in Lucatina Hall on Fort Gordon. It was a 24/7 mission, intelligence mission. And there was a contractor in there that was painting all the walls in the building. And I just got to talking to him. His name was Mr. Johnson. He lived in Harlem. He told me, he said, I think you should start a pressure washing company. And he said, because I do that as well. And he said, you can make really good money and you could be done by lunch.
Ha ha ha.
I know, right? Yes. Yeah. And so he gave me his phone number. He wrote down his phone number. And he said, you call me when you're ready to start this business. I'll show you everything you need to do. I'll show you how to build your little trailer and everything. I put his phone number in my uniform pocket and went home or whatever. My wife had washed the uniform and his phone number got dissolved.
Oh, no.
So I didn't know how to track him down. But that I had ever since then, I had been wanting to start a pressure washing business. And so I researched it for a couple years. I finished up my degree while I was in Korea. I used that time wisely while I was away from home. And then when I got my duty station of dreams, which is back to Fort Gordon, I knew that I could retire here. So that's when in 2018, we went ahead and actually started the business. But I'd been working on it for a few years before that. People don't realize that. I've been working on getting that going. So
had you ever met Mr. Johnson before or just random? He's there working and you like,
I just kept talking
happened
to him at night.
I got you.
I'd
While
walk
he was
by
there working,
yeah,
you were
I was walking
working.
down the halls. Hey, how you doing? It's, oh, great. And we just started chit chatting
Love
here and
that
there.
so
And
much.
yeah, he planted that seed. I had no experience pressure washing. I didn't know how to operate a pressure washer or anything like that. But once I did all the research, I really figured out like it's all about using the right cleaning solutions and the right processes and equipment and procedures and all that stuff that really give you a competitive advantage there. So
Did you ever talk to Mr. Johnson again after you started
I
your business?
never seen him again.
Never.
I've tried looking him up,
Yeah.
and if anybody knows him,
I know. So I'm like, hey, we need
tell
to
him
find
thank
Mr.
you.
Johnson, and he lived in Harlem.
He lived in
So-
Harlem. He
Okay.
had a painting business, but he also
Okay.
did pressure washing. So
So I've known you for a long
Yeah.
time. I didn't know that
Yeah.
story or how that
Not a
got
lot of people
started.
know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. So, what was it like going from military life to owning a business, running a business? Like, was
Mhm.
that a hard transition for you? Was it,
Mhm.
seem like what did that look like for you?
It was not a hard transition for me because I'd already gotten so involved in the community. Thanks to amazing people like you, who really just try to get people involved. I remember being brand new in my business, and you called me from the chamber, and you suggested that I look at the Leadership Columbia County program. And at the time, I was thinking, that was so, unattainable for me at that time, but it meant a lot, and you planted the seed there. And eventually I did go through that program, and it's an amazing program. But I had gotten so involved in the community before I fully transitioned out of the military that it really was just a seamless transition.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a challenging one for me at all, but every day I'm just thankful that I don't have to put the uniform on right now. I can focus on my business and my family and the community that we live in,
Yeah.
and just focus on that new chapter. I love serving. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, besides my wonderful wife. But it's just a great community, a great place to run a business, and I'm very blessed to be here.
Yeah. Well, and you say like you serve our country, but now I think you're just serving in a different capacity in the community, and that's what I think that's one of the things that I was drawn to when I first met you when you joined the chamber is like I could tell like your heart for service, like you were serving our country, which I admire so much and respect all of our soldiers that serve our country because it is a huge sacrifice, and so that was just something. And then I think probably for you, because you had that servant heart, servant-like mentality, just to transition to doing it, on a smaller community scale was easy for you. So saying all that, tell me about your, like all the things, because you do a lot for our community. You serve on several boards. So tell me a little bit about those and what all you're involved in.
Yes. So I recently, I was on the Columbia County Foundation Board, which is a great opportunity there. I did that for a couple years. And then I transitioned into the Chamber Board of Directors. And the Chamber does so much for our business community here, not just small business, but all of our employers, and really just focused on really growing our region in the right and meaningful way, helping create a lot of jobs and everything. So I'm on the School District Foundation Board, Columbia County School District Foundation Board as a trustee. And that is a very rewarding experience because we get to help raise money to give our students a competitive advantage. So we do a lot. We give back a lot to the schools, and we find areas where the state and the federal funds can't be used. So things for like different AP classes, and just giving our students a competitive advantage is really what we focus on there. And the Columbia County Foundation, Community Foundation as well, does a lot for, kids in need and everything else too. So just great opportunities. It feels good to help and it just makes you feel good to serve others and to be in that position to where you can kind of give back.
Yeah. So what does a day in the life of veterans pressure washing look like? When does your day start? And like, what does that look like?
Yep. So I'm at the shop at about 6:30 in the morning. Try to get there before everybody, comes rolling in. All of our technicians and our office staff comes in at 7. And then we have a morning huddle with all of our technicians. We go through the trucks. We have some, checklists that we go through, make sure that all of our equipment is working. We check on all of our jobs. We make sure that all of our jobs are lined up. They make sense. And then the technicians are out the door by 8 in the morning. And then I focus on some computer stuff, some emails, and working on that, and just really trying to look at my schedule for the day. And so I've been very fortunate to be, like you said, involved in a lot of things. So, and I love that. That's probably the most rewarding part of my day, is to be a part of things and, just get involved. So,
yeah. And they do great work. They've done my house. And if you ever have wanted, Dean knows this story, but I have always wanted, because growing up, my stepmom always had Christmas lights on her house. And so when I got a house, I always wanted Christmas lights on it. And I'm a little probably clumsy, I guess, when it comes to a ladder and figuring all that out. So a couple years ago, I was actually on a work trip. I think I was in DC.
Yep.
And I had been telling Adam for years or, months, however long we've been, I've always wanted Christmas lights. And then you started doing that. And I was just like, oh, I wonder if I can get Dean. And so had no idea. I come fly back, and it was like 11:50 at night when I get to my house. I was on that last flight out of Atlanta to Augusta. So it was really probably like 12:30, 1 o'clock when I got home.
Yeah.
And I come around the curve in my neighborhood, and there's like all this light, and I'm like, oh, and my house was all lit up. And it was the best moment. Surprise from Dean and Adam. They pulled that off, and Brandy too, because I know she does the behind the scenes stuff. But it was awesome. And just, I mean, y'all just do great work, and your office staff, when you call, I've referred a lot of people, and just very helpful. So what is your plan for the next few years for Veterans Pressure Washing? What does that look like?
I've had a dream to grow this brand in another market. I don't know, I'm not there yet, but we did a trademark for Georgia and South Carolina for Veterans Pressure Washing. So we can move this around, Georgia and South Carolina. And I've looked at other markets, like Lexington, Bluffton, Hilton Head area. There's some great markets, some good opportunities there. And as we're growing and scaling, I want to balance work-life balance too. And I don't want to take myself out of this community.
Yeah.
And that's my concern, is if I open another market, I will have to take myself out of the community, and I'll be less engaged here. And I really don't want that. And I don't know if we need that.
Yeah.
But obviously we love growing and scaling. I would love to have a bigger impact in the community. One of our goals is to create an endowment fund, that can be given back to those nonprofits in the community that need assistance and stuff like that. So, but yeah, just continue to grow and scale. And we love what we do. But I've got no specific plans on exiting or anything like that anytime soon.
Well,
So
good.
yeah.
But I love that plan. And I think, sometimes as business owners, you probably, you want to grow, get bigger. And I don't know that I've ever heard a business owner say, like, I want to grow, but also don't want to take myself out of the community where I live and my family is. And I think that just goes to show what kind of person you are, because you do want to grow, but then you're like, well, who's going to be the Dean and the Brandy of the next market?
Yes,
and so,
absolutely.
I tell people all the time, and actually somebody said that to me yesterday, can you clone yourself? And I said, if I could, I would, because I would be dangerous. Like,
Yes.
because there's all these other things that I would love to do or wish I had time to do.
Yeah.
And if I had more of me, I would do it.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like you, like
Yeah.
I would go and take, and save the world
Yes, absolutely.
So
That's
as
great.
we wrap up, we always love, my favorite thing is our rapid fire. And so these are questions that Dean has not seen. I have not told him, and he just has whatever comes to his mind first when I ask the question. So, favorite thing to pressure wash?
Um, my favorite service is gutter brightening,
Yeah.
and it drives everybody nuts.
Now, what is, wait, you got like gutter washing, but you're saying
Yes.
gutter brightening. So what is the,
So gutter brightening, gutters sometimes get oxidation and some tar residue that gets on those and the tiger stripes. And we've got a process where we can remove all that and restore the gutters back to their original beauty. It looks almost like they've been repainted, but it does take some elbow grease. But it's the most bang for the buck when the customer comes out and they see that for the first time. They're like, "Oh my gosh! Like I didn't know the gutters could get that bright." I love putting smiles on people's faces, and really that's why we love what we do. Christmas lights is the same way. I mean, just thinking about you driving back and seeing those lights and seeing how happy you were, like that makes me happy. And so, you know, gutter brightening it takes some elbow grease, and I love doing that for customers. I've done it for free for a lot of customers. I'm just like, you know what, these gutters would look so good if we could
I
just
didn't even know
brighten
that
them
was
up.
a thing, gutter brightening. Because I know when you clean my gutters, which, I think regular maintenance when you keep your house, because I have an all white house. So I'm very, once or twice a year, get it clean and, helps. But I didn't know that was a thing. I would love that too, because I love clean, bright, white. Yes, all the things. Yeah. Have you ever shown up to a job and said, man, I should have charged more?
Yeah, that's happened for sure. Yes. I mean, multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Yeah. You're just like, oh my gosh, does he realize this was so much work? But yes, that's happened.
Favorite thing to eat?
Favorite thing to eat? My wife's home cooked food.
Ah. What's her best meal?
She makes a schnitzel because we were stationed in Germany. So schnitzel is really good that she does. She's got a lot of casseroles and everything that she does too. So she's a great cook, and it's so much healthier for you than eating out. Sometimes we eat out a lot, too, but.
Okay, so dinner at the Smith's house because I don't cook. I can cook. So I had.
When would you have the time?
Yeah, right. Best piece of advice you've got from a commanding officer in the military?
Well, in the military, they always say, show up when you're supposed to show up at the right time and the right place in the right uniform. And that's 80% of your success. And I always did that all through my career. I always showed up early, which, we have PTSD for if we're running late.
Yes.
But I always showed up early in the right uniform with the right attitude and ready to volunteer and help. So if so many great opportunities in my life have come from volunteering to do something. And it was like that all through the military as well. Because it opens up doors.
I love that.
When you raise your hand and say, yes, I'll help out, and sometimes you don't know what the job is going to be, but you're like, I'm just volunteering for something. I don't know. They needed 10 soldiers and I'm one of them. But that would be my big, and it's so simple.
Yeah. Right time.
Yep.
Right uniform and right place. I love that.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, you can apply that to everything in life.
It really is true.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Okay, you might have to think on this one, but I love this. Yeah. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
I always like the Eye of the Tiger song.
Yes.
Like that song would get me pumped up. Yeah. And I don't know any of the lyrics to it or anything. But
when you hear it, you probably can sing every word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I'd have to do like a PT test or something like that, I could play that song and just get me excited, get me motivated. So
I love it.
I remember when I was a kid, I did watch all the Rocky series back in the day.
Yeah.
And I just remember that song.
You did when it came on, you're like, yes, let's go Rocky.
Yeah. It just got you. It just got you pumped up. So.
If you weren't owning and running a pressure washing business, what would you be doing?
That's a really good question. I always see myself as an entrepreneur. And I always see myself as being somebody that's involved in the community. And being a business owner is kind of a vehicle to help do that. But if I wasn't running a pressure washing business, I'd probably be running a different business, another different home service company. But I love the ability to be your own boss, even though sometimes you will work harder as your own boss. But there are those moments when you know you really need to be there for your family, and you can kind of make sure that you can control your own schedule. So you're like, I'm going to be there for that. I love that freedom and that flexibility. But again, it's not a free pass because you do work harder, but you can kind of control more of your own destiny.
Yeah, I love that. All right, last rapid fire question. What are you watching on TV right now?
So I really don't
you're
watch
not a
TV.
big, I know.
Yeah.
So
But there are some moments. And for some reason, my wife and I mean, we both like the show just because it's kind of drama, but it's 90 Day Fiance.
Okay.
You ever seen that one?
I have not watched a whole episode, but I've watched snippets.
Yeah.
And then when it comes home, and sometimes it gets me because I'm like, oh, I need to go watch that because it's like so crazy. Like, it's, yes.
These relationships are train wrecks, and you can just watch them coming in
From the
slow
beginning.
motion. But people going overseas and, meeting people and getting 90 days to meet them, marry them, whatever it is. I don't support really that way of life at all, but the show is very interesting and weird. But, so sometimes that's just a way to kill a little bit of time after dinner. But
and I like those kind of, because you don't have to think. Like, you don't have to follow. Like, you know, there's not like all these twists and turns. It's just a complete train wreck from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have never, ever, ever guessed that about you. I love that we just found something new.
Yep.
All right. So as we wrap up Building Community podcast, tell us how Veterans Pressure Washing is building community.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely, we give back a lot. We get involved. We try to support as much as we possibly can through the different organizations that we're a part of. Obviously, the Homebuilders Association has been a big impact for us as well. But we like to get involved. We like to give back. And our team, we focus on doing a really amazing job for our clients and being there for them and being a resource for them. And our guys, they love what they do. We try to surround ourselves with good young men and women. And I see them every single day, and I shake their hands and tell them, thank you for doing what you're doing. And if there's ever a moment where they're not following those values, then we go our separate ways. But that's the kind of team that we've surrounded ourselves with. And it's amazing to see, how hard young men will work. I mean, and we got some hardworking young men, and they do a great job.
Yep.
And I'd say that's probably our competitive advantage. Really, is just we focus so much on quality and over delivering and just taking care of our customers no matter what.
Yep, I love that. Well, thank you, Dean, so much for being here today, and thank you for all that Veterans Pressure Washing and your entire team do for our community and our association as we're celebrating 70 years. And we'll see you next time on Building Community Podcast.